Hey, we're going to talk about something a little bit different with a really weird example to use, but I think you'll find it interesting. Let me get back down there. Hey everybody, good morning. I'm out here at one of my favorite cattle feeding operations, and I happened to walk by something a minute ago that made me think of a topic that I don't think I've seen anybody talk about very much. But in the world of shelter design and consideration, for those of you that think about such things, we're going to go up here. What we've got here is a big hopper that feeds up into this feed production mill. This particular hopper delivers silage. This is ground up corn stalks and corn, which is fermented like sauerkraut basically, and then used to feed cows. We're going to go up here and look at something. Hopefully it'll show it again like it did a while ago. Now this machine is running right now, but I want to show you something. Look down in here. There's a big auger down in the bottom that's pulling the material into a chute, dropping it into that, and then it feeds up from there. When it does it, something happens. It creates a hollow spot down underneath there. Now this stuff is loose and not compacted, with really slick sides and really wet, slippery material. But even still, you can see something that happens, and it's called, if you're doing it underground, it's called earth arching. An arch, if you know your architecture at all, is evident from way, way back. It's one of the first really strong things they figured out in the world of architecture. How, sorry, I was out doing some stair laps. How it builds up in a circle like that, and the top part supports the sides because all the pressure goes to each other. And even in this right here, you see the effects of arching. Now when this runs again, well, maybe we'll get a little bit better look at it. It won't take but a second here. But if you're building a shelter underground, like a lot of people like to do, if you can build the top of it arched, the dirt over the top, the way it holds, gives it 10 times the strength of just plain dirt across a flat surface. That's why a lot of the very best shelters are made from the round tubes, the big round corrugated tubes. The strength in those is incredible. A lot of people talk about burying the shipping containers. Those are nice, but a couple of problems. One, with those flat sides, it doesn't have a way to dissipate its own pressure from the external forces that are put into it. And so a lot of care has to be taken to do one of those so that you don't worry about it collapsing in from the sides or collapsing in from the top. Those are made for the structural sides to hold all the weight. When they stack them on top of each other, all the weight goes around the edges of it where they're built strong enough to support a vertical force, but not a horizontal force or a perpendicular force to the walls. This should be just about ready to fire up the next batch. I hear one of the other machines, they go in a sequence. So we'll let this one go here in just a second. But if you're building a shelter, if you want to build a shelter underground, number one, kudos, good idea. Underground is a lot of times the safest place to be for a lot of things. Not always, not always. Depends on your force. If you're in tornado country, yeah, underground is great. If you're somewhere where the winds might get really bad, or even where temperatures might get really bad, extremes one way or another. Here we go. Now look at that, how it creates, and this stuff is loose. If I stood down in there, I'd sink right in. But you can see how as it goes, it builds up the arch along the edge there. And those pressures that it creates of its own material hold it together good. Same thing over here on this side. Now it gets more dramatic after this, if they fill it up and it sits for a while. But even in a circumstance like this, as loose as that is, you can see the effects of the strength of arching. Look it up for yourself. Look up earth arching in underground shelter considerations and that kind of thing. Okay, I just thought I'd share that with you. I love stuff like this, I really do. And by the way, this silage, oh my gosh, it smells so good. It's got that tart, sour, sweet, crisp smell to it. Probably y'all wouldn't like it, but I appreciate small things like that. A quick look around, then we go. Actually, it may be about to run again. These things are on a time sequence. It'll start about the time I turn off the camera, but we've gone long enough. Y'all got the idea. Cheers, y'all. There we go, kind of a last little shot here. Using up probably most of the rest of what's in here. That machine moves a lot of material. Way better than a shovel in a bucket. You know, to be honest, I didn't realize this thing held 3 of those buckets. I thought it only held 2. Something choked up a little bit. All right, just thought you'd like that. That's it.